Okay.
Second
Hey,
shot.
everybody. Let me mute everybody. All right, Phil, you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
I should be good to go.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome to Fireside Chats. So how these things work is Phil's gonna take you through a short presentation of how community solar works. And then if you guys have any questions, you can send them in the chat and I will read them off in the order that I get them. The questions that we'll get are general ones. We won't be answering customer specific ones. Those can go to EA support, but anything else, fire away and just message me.
All right, guys.
Take it
Well,
away, Phil.
welcome to another week of Fireside Chats. You're going to get really used to seeing me. Um, let's kind of dive in, right? So, Think Energy has taken this approach of really focusing on being the fastest community solar aggregator and customer acquisition company in the United States, right? We're all about amassing the greatest amount of opportunities by partnering with a large number of providers to bring every possible community solar option to customers anywhere we can find it in the United States. We're working with Sincarfa, Arcadia, Meadow. We just recently started working with IGS in Maryland, where they have a 10% product there, right? Like the whole concept about Think Community Solar really is bringing community solar to the masses by being the largest aggregator of all community solar activities, right? And how it works, community solar is a great product, right? The way that it works is community solar developers, right? They build these farms and they connect these farms to the grid and they start supplying power to the grid. And that power is local to you, to those customers in those hyper regionalized areas. But the big catch here is you need to have customers for that power because we got to support more and more developers to build more and more capacity for community solar in those local areas. So how we get customers that power is really through the savings mechanism, right? Customers can reserve a portion of that power and basically get a share, and they get that share in the form of a credit. And the beautiful part is that they're basically getting, like, let's say a customer is getting $100 worth of these community solar credits, right? They get to buy those credits at a discount. So, it's like going to Costco and buying a $100 Apple gift card that you want to do to buy a new iPhone or add to your iTunes account. But you're not paying $100 at Costco. Costco allows you to buy those gift cards cheaper. And that's what community solar does. You're able to buy these gift cards basically at a discounted price. And so that's where the discount kind of comes in. So you go, you purchase, you get allocated for, community solar, and you're getting $100 in value, but you're not paying $100. You're only paying $90 for that. And that $90 gets applied directly to their utility account every month. And so customers can save anywhere from 5 to 25% on those community solar credits, lowering their utility bills every single month, which is fantastic. They lock it in for a really long period of time, up to 20 years. You get discounts from 5 to 25%, depending on the program, depending on the state. It's free to roll. It's locked in. Doesn't matter what happens with your utility rates, you're always going to save. And that's the beautiful part about it. So we talked about community solar and how Think is really focused on aggregating all of these opportunities, right? Just in a very short period of time, we've launched a lot of markets. Colorado to DC here, right? Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, Virginia, right? Lots of opportunities, and there's a lot more coming down the pipeline. This summer, we'll have updates for you guys on New Mexico, Oregon, and Delaware. Those are the next states that are going to be coming up for community solar. And there's active legislation happening right now in Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, California, Wisconsin, and Washington. So we want to get as many states on board with this as possible, as quickly as possible. But like right now, we're looking at about 5 million customers that could potentially save. And our goal is to make sure that we're always having the availability and products to get customers allocated to those farms. So that way they can realize that savings. So the enrollment flow kind of varies a little bit by market because every state is unique. And I really want to encourage you guys to go to Think Success and take a look at all the state-specific training guides that we have there. All the details around each enrollment's there. But it's a very simple enrollment for these top states here, right? Colorado, DC, through Rhode Island. Customers go to your customer sign-up pages, your get pages. They select the product, they enter their information, they go and complete their enrollment. Illinois and Virginia are a little bit trickier. Illinois, you actually have to go through Arcadia's cart for their products, and there's a TPV there. So they start off, they enter their zip code, they enter all the information, then they're going to get redirected to the Arcadia page. They're going to go through their enrollment, and the final step there is that they have to complete a TPV. And so it's really important to make sure that these customers are using their phone number on this enrollment and entering that customer information and making sure that, because that's the same number that the TPV is going to call, so that way they can finalize that enrollment. And so they're either going to receive a phone call, they might get a text message, or they might get an email to call in to confirm their enrollment. These are state regulations, and so we have to abide by those. So there's not much else that you can do. And then in Virginia also has a TPV, but there's one other step that Virginia has to do. And that's where you have to link your utility account. So your Dominion account, a lot of customers have friction with this. If they don't have their utility login credentials, have them just go to the website, reset their password, get their utility login credentials so that way they have that. And as they're going through the final steps in the Arcadia card, they have to provide those credentials. So if you get them to do that ahead of time, it'll be a much smoother enrollment flow for them. This is the big friction point around community solar, right? Retail energy is a lot simpler from an enrollment experience, but community solar is a little bit more difficult. And that's just by the nature of the program. It's all designed around adding more solar capacity for the grid. The electrification of everything is coming, right? And well, it's here actually. People are using electric vehicles. There is lots more solar. There's lots more production. There's batteries. Like, we use electricity every single day, and that use is just increasing. And so community solar is a part of that strategy to really help supply and balance the grid to help avoid some of these extreme prices. So that's the reason why so many states are really focused on building and bringing more community solar programs on board, because it's really a market mechanism where these IPPs or independent power producers are getting incentives by having customers automatically or allocated through partners like us to their community solar farms to provide more financial incentive to build more capacity. So as we enroll more customers and we get more customers saving money with community solar, it allows us to put more and more community solar farms onto all of these grids, helping to balance the grid and being part of the energy solutions that this country needs. So billing is a very hot topic around how community solar works. So, we keep talking about this idea of a gift card, and I've said that a couple of times on these calls. And the idea of going to Costco and buying a $100 Apple gift card for a discount is really how community solar works. And I use that analogy a lot, and not many people know that you can buy discounted gift cards at Costco in the first place. If you don't, it's a great way to save money. Second is by getting like that discounted gift card and then applying it to your full balance. So it's really beneficial. But there are two ways that you can go about doing that, right? Dual billing basically means that you're going to pay the community solar provider directly for that utility gift card, right? So if it's Sincarfa, Meadowlands, IGS, you're paying them for that gift card, and then you get to apply that gift card to your utility bill. That's what dual billing means. It means you're still paying your utility bill, and then you're also paying the community solar farm for that discount. There's a lot of states that do this dual billing. It is the one billing methodology that is a little bit more cumbersome for people, right? Because when you're onboarding, you're paying for solar credits that you haven't used yet. It's going to get applied to like maybe your next month's bill. And so there's a little bit of startup time with getting that gift card applied to your utility account. But then you start to realize that total discount of 5 to 25% over the entire year. And these are the states where dual billing applies, right? Colorado, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Washington, and DC. We need to fix that, Lauren. It should not say Washington. Washington is not there yet. And because there's a little bit more friction with dual billing environments, that's why we do 2 points for open enrollments and 3 points for LMI. So yes, there's a little bit more friction on enrolling customers in dual billing because they have 2 bills. That's why we give you guys more points in dealing with that friction. Now, my favorite, utility consolidated billing, is only in 3 states right now. It's in Illinois, New York, and Virginia. Now, utility consolidated billing is great because you don't have 2 bills like you do in dual billing. There's just 1 bill. You're going to pay ComEd in Illinois. You're going to pay the New York utilities, right? And you're basically realizing that discount on the same bill, and you only have to pay the utility. So let me show you guys a couple of examples of that. So here's National Grid in Massachusetts, right? We can see that this customer had a total amount due of $28.88 right here, right? And the reason why it's $28.88 is because they have a credit. They got a credit here for $165.81, right? And that's coming from a transfer credit for charges. This charge right here of $165.81 adds up to their community solar bill, right? So if you look here on their community solar bill, they got a bill from Simcarfa on Solar Gardens for $149.23. But they're getting the total value of $165.81. So they're saving 10% on that utility gift card that then gets applied to their utility account. So they're saving 10%, which is great, but they have to pay Simcarfa for that. Now, in utility consolidated billing, this is where you just have 1 bill. So here's ComEd, although this is the old ComEd bill in Illinois. They have some new ones. We still haven't seen them with community solar credits because ComEd is a really, really well-run utility. I am being facetious, just to be clear. You see here that they have a credit here on $14.30, right? So you're automatically applying the community solar benefit to the singular utility bill. So there's no dual billing experience here. It's just 1 bill. You sign up for it. It's a much smoother and easier experience for customers. Fortunately, there's a little bit more friction with enrolling in Illinois. New York's relatively simple. Virginia has got a little friction too, but the nice part is on those utility consolidated billing markets of Illinois, Virginia, and New York, the actual billing experience is very, very smooth. So this is when we come back to, there's a lot of states out here that we're operating in. And the goal of these fireside chats is really give you guys a quick high-level view of how community solar works, and then point you guys over at Think Success so you can kind of drill into the state-specific questions. And if you guys have any other further questions, we started office hours this week on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 3 and 4 o'clock. The team's just going to be on a Zoom. You go to Think Success. You can pop right in. They'll be there answering questions, helping you guys figure things out. And hopefully you guys start to join and ask those questions there. But the fireside chat, all about community solar, and I just kind of want to open it up for questions. Before I do, just a reminder, there is a community solar program promotion going on right now where if you're in Maryland, DC, and Massachusetts, you can earn an extra $100 for each community solar enrollment. And on top of that, the top 10 community solar enrollers in each one of those districts, right, in Maryland and DC or Massachusetts, will get tickets to box seats at either an Orioles game or a Red Sox game. And then Mike and Steve will be there. Hopefully I'll be able to make it too. And then we'll also do some raffles for anybody outside of the top 10 to try to get as many people there as possible. Now let's open up to questions.
All right, so if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and message me in the chat, and then I will answer them in the order that I get them in. All right, the first one is, how is historical usage calculated when someone moves into a new home and they sign up but only have 1 or 2 months of their bill?
So if they have like, as long as they have a copy of their bill, they upload a copy of their bill. If they only have 1 or 2 months of historic usage, we can take that and make projections. We can also work directly with the utility if they don't have much historic usage on there with calculating what their volume would be, right? So if you think about it, community solar works by seeing how much power a customer uses and then matching that up with the community solar farm. So that way we can kind of match that utilization so they're applying the right amount of credits to them. So they're not getting too many credits, right? Because you want to make sure it's a good experience for them. And so we only need about a month. Two's fine. And if there's nothing really there, we can work with the utility to see the old historic usage from the previous user. It's not an exact 1-to-1. It's more art than science, but we're able to work through it.
Okay, what's the update with Colorado and Minnesota?
Updates for Colorado. Oh, this is probably referring to just delays that they're not getting to the pending status quickly. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we're working through, it's a new utility, Excel. We're working on getting historic usage and getting those allocation records and attestation records and getting them signed over. So that way we can get them allocated properly in Colorado and Minnesota. So hopefully it won't be terribly too much longer. My dogs are saying hello, by the way.
Hi, dogs. What's the latest on Oregon, New York, and Delaware?
Yeah, so we should have some updates this summer on those new markets. As soon as I do, I'll be announcing it here on the Fireside Chat, and I'll make sure you guys get an update that Fireside Chat is going to be giving you guys some updates.
What's the average time frame after someone signs on to a solar farm that their service begins?
Can you ask that question again? And actually, Shannon is correcting me. Like, it is really important in Minnesota that we get a copy of their bill so we can pull historic usage off of that.
Oh, and make sure we get copies of every page of the bill, not just the top bill.
That's right.
Full copy of the bill. We need to, get the historical usage. Hi, Dawn. As well as, sorry, we need the copy of the bill to confirm that it is a residential rate class or a non-commercial rate class. So, boom.
The whole team's
okay, so the question.
totally cool. This is a family affair.
Oh, yes. Okay, what's the average time frame after someone gets allocated onto a farm that their service begins?
So usually once you
Or
get
signs on
allocation done properly, you're looking at, it can take up to 3 months usually, but we've got a lot of capacity and a lot of eager IPPs that really want to get them on flow quickly. And like in the example of Maine, right? By the end of this month, we should have an allocation plan for pretty much all of our Maine customers. And so stay tuned for that too.
Okay, great. So far, those are the only questions we've gotten. Again, if you have any questions that you would like us to answer that don't have anything to do with a specific customer, just message me and I will say them aloud.
Hi, Phil and Lauren. You guys are doing an awesome job again.
Hey, Bella, how you doing?
Okay,
Hi.
doing fabulous. Doing hi. Listen, we have a brand new guest that just signed up a few minutes ago with Think Energy, and she's been in the energy industry for years from New Jersey, and she's been selling solar, and she's very excited about Think Energy. She has a question, and she, for some reason, cannot get unmuted. So
Okay.
let's try to get her. Her name is Mrs. Heisler. Could we get her to somehow get her question answered? Can you unmute yourself, Mrs. Heisler? She's on the Zoom.
Now let's find her.
She's a great girl. She just
think I
signed up
found her. Hold on.
literally 5 minutes ago.
Put it in the chat too, right?
Yeah.
It won't let me unmute her, but it is making me push a button that says ask to unmute.
Yeah,
Here,
that's
but I can message her and see what her question is. Okay, another question that just went to the chat. Can they be signed up to electric supply while they wait to get allocated to a community solar farm?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The only place that we have some friction, we'll call it, with being on supply and community solar is Maine, and that's largely because I love the data infrastructure at the Maine utilities. They're just fantastic. They really know how to run a data table. It's I'm just not going there. But yes, it is totally fine to be on retail energy and community solar every place except Maine.
Remember, this is a family show, Phil.
It's Eric's amused. He's massively amused about that comment.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't know I could unmute. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
So, obviously a lot of people, and we sort of talked about this before, but I kind of have a suggestion maybe.
Sure.
Not sure if it's possible, but since a lot of people are on fixed incomes, especially LMI, we're getting some friction on the fact that, especially here in Maine, and I know it's not everywhere because it's different everywhere, where people are scared to go on solar, even with a 25% discount, because they're afraid of their payments being higher in the summer.
Mhm.
Is there some way that we can smooth that out just during the summer or something like that? It's probably not possible, but
Not like we've gone around this like a ton of times. Like we have allocation-based billing in Maine for our current cohort of people. There's so many issues around allocation-based billing and versus usage-based billing. Everything that people do right now outside of Maine is allocation-based, and that's the industry, pure and simple. If you start budget billing community solar, the whole financial model is basically built around the fact that you're trying to encourage more and more production. And that's why they designed these programs where you have IPPs, they connect it to the grid, and they're passing through both tax incentive as well as financial incentive by allowing customers to directly enroll and pay close to market rates, right? So what that does is that creates more and more IPPs wanting to build capacity onto the grid. Otherwise, you would have to do a whole different setup and it would be much slower and a lot more regulatory red tape. So if that's the financial incentive to create more programs for people to enroll in, then what you've introduced during the summer is this ability to basically take on debt. If somebody's going to use the credits, but not actually pay for all the credits, and you have to settle up over a longer period of time, those customers that are having difficulty paying them are also a financial risk to those IPPs. And so then you're just completely eroding the financial incentive for them to get on the flow. So there's a lot of programs designed to increase that discount for them to make it easier. And like, for example, 25% of a discount, even off of like an 80% allocation usage, is a really low bill by comparison. And then they're going to keep seeing that low bill over the entire year. But designing anything else would create a lot of financial instability for the community solar programs and almost completely wash away the ability for us to produce more and more capacity. That's the answer is basically no. And that's why they built these LMI programs in the first place, to provide more discount. So over the course of the year, they're going to save 25%, but you might have a little friction in the summertime. Most places outside of Maryland don't have this, or outside of Maine don't have this like really weird usage curve where usage in the summer is really, really low. Most places are firing off AC and doing a lot of other stuff. Maine is a very unique state, like an extremely unique state when it comes to load and usage characteristics.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Phil.
Yep, no worries.
Okay, we got another question in the chat. Do EAs get paid remainder of their cap at allocation or when the customer starts paying for credits?
So it's when they pay for their first credit. That's when you're getting your other half of your cap.
Yes, Shannon?
It's not, so it's when the, sorry, I gotta be really specific here, because it's not just when they go active and pay their first bill. Well, technically it is and it isn't. It's when they become, in the personal customer report, you'll see that they are active and residually qualified.
Qualified.
So yes, you're right, they have paid their bill.
But it's important to see your PCR and see residual qualified.
Yes, that is the indicator. Just because they're active doesn't mean diddly.
Yeah,
Except-
that means they're active, but they haven't paid their bill yet. And they become
Yep.
residually qualified once they pay their bill.
Yeah.
Those are all the ones I've gotten in the chat. If anybody has a couple last minute questions
we
that want to maybe
answer-
sneak in.
Lauren,
Bella-
did you see the question? Yes, I'm trying to get a question out that my advisor, one of our advisors, Mrs. Heisler, has. She
She's
had a
not
question.
muted.
Can you speak, Mrs. Heisler? Can you speak? She's trying to get herself unmuted. Her question, I hope I can, explain it the right way, but somebody that's with her on Arcadia right now in New Jersey and has USF. And so what's the story with people that have USF?
You're gonna have to refresh. What is USF?
Okay, I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I know.
myself, but that's why I wanted
I think I can help here. This is Isaac.
Thanks. Go ahead, Isaac,
Well,
thanks.
Let me jump in. USF is Universal Service Fund.
Okay.
It's a fund that helps pay for the electric bill, and some people it pays a large portion, or maybe even all or most of the bill. So how does it work if they're subscribed? What she was saying is with Arcadia, she knows with Arcadia, someone that has the USF and they were getting credits, even though they were getting the bill paid from the USF, and now they had nothing to do with the credits because it's already paid. So how does it work with us?
So usually in programs like this, where we have this is basically assistance, right? Where they're having bill assistance. There's a whole host of programs across the United States. What we have seen typically is those customers, they're usually going to be on the hook for those community solar credits, and those service funds, right? Those administrators, whether it's Vantage Point or anybody else, are not going to participate in that discount. So if they're getting discounts or their bill paid through a servicer, I would contact that servicer to see if they're willing to take the community solar discounts in utility consolidated billing markets only. If it's a dual billing market, this will not work for them, right? Because they're going to have to pay the community solar credits out of pocket, and all you're doing is offsetting a benefit somebody else is already paying for. In utility consolidated billing markets, they need to contact the servicer and ask specifically if they are allowing the participation in community solar programs, and to also pay with their assistance the utility or the community solar credits. And it's up to them as to whether or not they want to do that. Most of them will say no.
I believe the Universal Service Fund is a state program.
It is. And let me just say, it is really complicated getting multiple state programs talking to each other. And that is
so what you're saying is they should not sign up for community solar if they have the Universal Service Fund.
Correct. I would not. I would contact the fund that is providing assistance at the state level only in utility consolidated billing markets. So like Virginia has something, New York has a little bit of something, Illinois has something. You want to talk to those servicers first and ask if their account is able to participate in state-sponsored community solar programs. And I have seen it across the board. Some are like, yes, some are no. It's on a case-by-case basis, and we have seen no logic around it.
But definitely not for a dual billing market.
Definitely not a dual billing market. If somebody is having somebody else pay, if somebody's having a servicer or a fund pay their utility bill, do not have them sign up for community solar.
What if there's still a balance they're paying for, let's say it's $150 bill and they pay 100. Now you got another 50 left over.
You're going to have to run the math to see if it's worth it for them. I would say that most of the time you're talking about saving, like, let's say 5 to 20%, 25%, but they're going to have to fit the bill for those credits. And it's going to be really difficult for them to realize all of that savings. I promise you're going to create more friction with the customer trying to use government assistance paying their bill versus just have them stay where they are and try to get them on a good retail energy rate.
Okay.
Let me add this. Let me just go. If I'm not mistaken, just correct me. In New York, you could take the discount if somebody gets HEAP. In New York, it's called HEAP, H-E-A-P.
Yes.
So my point is, I know the ones asking the questions are talking in particular about New Jersey, but since New Jersey is gonna be consolidated by next winter, I don't see an issue because they're gonna build credit now. They don't have credit that much over the summer months. This universal fund and the HEAP is all about winter helping for the heat. So the point is, if they're gonna sign up now, they're gonna get allocated to a farm in the next 2, 3, 4 months, way maybe in the summer, after the summer, and then it's gonna turn into consolidate before next winter.
But
I feel it's okay. Am I right?
But we can't guarantee that they're going to go utility consolidated billing in that time frame.
So what's the forecast for New Jersey?
We're talking government regulators, so it's like putting a blindfold on, turning around and throwing a dart behind your head to try to hit a dartboard. They're not always the most consistent and on time groups. Like I'm a little like, yes, I get HEAP in New York and I get it, but we can't really guarantee that they'll go utility consolidated billing. And we also don't know what the rules will be with assistance programs when they do go utility consolidated billing.
Got it.
Because those have to be defined yet. And we already have states that have assistance programs like in Illinois, and it's still not properly defined about how that works with community solar and UCV markets. That's why you have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
But
That's
the way
why
we see it, the LMI, what we call the LMI, and we get more points for it, signing up customers. The farms are looking for LMI. Usually they are the same people. The LMI are the people who are getting those funds.
You're absolutely right. They are the same people. I would agree with you 100%. But you have to remember, LMI is the low is a part of LMI, but the M is the median, right?
True.
So it's LMI is actually not just designed around those at the lowest economic thresholds. There are people that are in that kind of median area.
In between.
Still,
They call it moderate.
The moderate side is where
Right.
you really can drive enrollments because those people can really realize the benefit from it.
We always say in America, the middle income have the issue. The low income get a lot of help.
They
rich
do.
are rich. The middle
Yep.
income are the issue.
Yep, that's why moderate is
Swim through.
really should be the focus. And we're just
Makes
as an FYI, guys, like I love these fireside chats and I love the like back and forth that we're having. We're going to be in the process of building 2 more out, right? One is for retail energy and one is just for sales enablement in general about like tips and tricks and just general information around how to be more effective in selling. And Lauren's working on those things right now.
Wow. I'm amazed with you 3. I mean, there's a lot coming across because I've been here from the beginning, so I know what you.
It's been there's
a
a
lot of accomplishment happening.
We are moving quickly.
Exciting.
We're
moving quickly,
focus.
and we're still on the ground floor. That's the way I see it. I feel
I
like
like
Wow.
I'm pre-launch it in the business.
That's right.
Yes.
we got
Wow,
a lot
Joel,
of
that's
exciting
very,
updates
this is
coming.
so exciting, Phil. Wow, my goodness.
It is.
This is
And we got
amazing.
a lot of exciting updates coming on the next State of the Company call and the one in July too. So stay tuned.
Wow.
We're only scratching the surface, guys.
And we appreciate your time and efforts.
Happy to.
Totally, totally. Thank you.
Any other
Wow.
questions, Lauren?
Yeah, there's a couple in the chat. Someone told me they're on a payment plan with utility company based on non-payment. Can they be enrolled in community solar? Does that matter?
Usually, so if it's a dual billing, they can, because they're paying for them separately. And utility consolidated billing, usually the utility wants them to be in good standing before they apply those credits, before they allow it.
Okay, when a customer with a third-party electric provider company signs up for community solar, how do we explain dual billing? In other words, does Think Energy direct the solar credits toward the third-party company?
Yeah, I mean, they're still, even though they have a third party, they're still having their utility bill, and they'll see it all reconcile there on the utility bill. I would encourage you to sign them up with Think Energy as that third party.
When is JCPL market going live? Originally, we heard April.
Stay tuned.
Okay. Um, could you explain why both electricity, inland solar in Maine are not allowed?
So it's kind of complicated. It has to do with reconciliation. Basically, the state wipes out your usage on the billing. And so you get into these kind of like negative usage patterns on the bills that creates a lot of complexity with reconciliation. This is not a Think Energy thing. This is a retail energy and a community solar existing within that data infrastructure that Maine has put together that's creating all these problems. So they're not unique to just us. They're unique to everybody. So that's the problem. We're advocating for data fixes. There's a lot of smart people that are knocking on their doors with solutions. We just, hopefully they'll listen. It takes time.
Okay, and then the last one
Remember about utilities don't move quickly. They are slow. I was going to say deliberate, but they're not really deliberate. They're just slow.
Okay, the last one we have in the chat is, should I offer my townhome manager for solar? How do I go about doing that?
How to offer them community solar?
Yeah, they're thinking about offering big complexes community solar, and how can they go
So
about doing that?
commercial for community solar is not a thing yet. Stay tuned. Man, I say that a lot. But if there are residential there, they can go ahead and sign that up. So if they have individual residential meters, it's totally fine. Commercial, not yet.
Okay. That's the last question. Do we just want to go ahead and close it up and have everybody say bye?
Let me jump in. I had just a new
All right.
advisor. Sorry, I forgot about it. I had a new advisor who signed up a lot of accounts. And it's building accounts that mean commercial accounts. We call it PLP.
Yep.
And he got refused on it. Original cause it's under commercial and demand charges on those accounts.
Yeah, it depends on the rate class for the meter. Some of those, residential places that you'd think would qualify don't necessarily, because the rate class is at commercial level.
So it got to do with the rate class. That's the point. So if it's a PLP meter and it's residential rate, it should be approved because it's a residential building. But if they are in the rate class of paying demand charges, then it's an issue. Is that the right answer?
Yep, that's right.
Got it. Very interesting. Because he had a lot of accounts, very small bills, but he paid demand. I was shocked myself.
Yeah, I know. It's annoying. And the process of getting the meters reclassified is not worth the lift. Like, just wait till we can get commercial launched.
Got it. Yeah, you said soon. Stay tuned. Sorry.
Stay
Stay tuned.
tuned. Nice.
Which month? Which month is stay tuned? I'll Google it.
June and July are going to be fun months. State of the company
Okay.
calls. They're going to be fun.
Okay. Okay. Getting ready.
All right, guys. Hey,
Thank you so much.
everyone, have a wonderful evening. Thanks for all the questions. You guys take care, all right? And if
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much,
Miss you.
everybody.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Eric, Tuesday, Thursdays.
Thank you
office
so
hours.
much.
If you guys have got more specific questions, come to office hours.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great evening.
Of course.
See
Bye,
ya.
everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye, Dawn.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank you all so very, very much.
Of course. Happy to do it. Nice to see you, Coach Francie.
God bless you all, for real.
You too. Happy to help.